not for the Speaker to determine. If you wish to do that, then the Green Party will revise its view of that report and disassociate itself with it.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, I do recall the debate that occurred at the Standing Orders Committee. Some of us would have preferred this to be tighter, the wording to be tighter. In fact, some of us promoted having it in the standing order, as it had been previously. It was, in the end, a consensus of the committee, went through without dissent the wording, which had the two exceptions. It was a technical exception for ministers, especially on first reading, was the discussion, and secondly, for inexperienced members. That member fulfils neither of those requirements, and I therefore totally support the Speaker's ruling.
Order. I thank the Honourable Member, and I don't think we need to put further attention on this afternoon. It's only for the good of the House that I raised the issue, and I accept I allowed one member to read a speech this afternoon. That's why I wanted to make sure on the other side of the House I didn't preclude another member reading a speech, but I want to encourage members for the rest of this general debate, which I'd rather we got on with, to please enter into the spirit of the general debate. The Honourable Phil Heatley. Point of order, Kennedy Graham.
Mr. Speaker, I don't wish to pursue it any beyond this, and this will be my last comment on it. But that is not the understanding on which I participated.
Order. We're not going to debate this matter in the House now. Order. The member will resume his seat. We're not going to debate this matter in the House now. The Speaker rules on all matters in this House, and if the member doesn't have confidence in the Speaker, there are certain procedures to follow in that regard. But the Speaker has ruled that, consistent with the findings of the Standing Orders Committee, that there are occasions when speeches can be read indeed. In fact, I remember on a recent occasion the member reading a particularly detailed speech following his attendance at a conference, international conference, and I didn't intervene in that case because there was a lot of detail the member wanted to convey to the House. And that's the judgment of the Speaker. And in all matters, the Speaker rules in this House. The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr. Speaker, it's very interesting what's coming from the Green Party in that view, because what it does is highlight the points I made this afternoon. And I want to tell members what my mother told me. She told me, she said, Phil, young Phil, when you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. And I say to the Green Party, when you tell the truth, you don't have to read your speeches. You don't have to gather your lines.
Order. In saying you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that, the member is referring to the Speaker. The member must use the appropriate part of speech if he's going to attack another party. The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr. Speaker, I was quoting what my mother was saying to me, and she said, Phil, when you, Phil, tell the truth, you don't have to remember your lines, you don't have to read your speeches, we don't all have to stick to the same line. And the reality is, over at the Green Party, they are way off beam when it comes to getting the facts out there. Now, there's something we love about the Green Party, and that is that they're untainted. They're holy and they're pure and they're untainted, Mr. Speaker. They're untainted by reality, they're untainted by experience, and they're untainted by the facts. And I don't know why the Labor Party is so intent on climbing into bed with them. And I find it interesting, Mr. Speaker, that the Labor Party and the Greens, they are so very much close together. The Labor Party said we can't clarify labour laws in order for the Hobbit films to be in New Zealand. The Labor Party hate the Hobbits. Mr. Speaker, the Labor Party said that we can't upgrade roads of national significance. In fact, we're not going to upgrade the road north of Auckland to Whangarei. They hate Whangarei people. The Labor Party said that foreigners cannot invest in New Zealand. And the irony of that, of course, is that the Labor Party says it believes in ethnic diversity, and would people of different ethnic backgrounds please vote for us, but don't spend your cash in New Zealand. The Labor Party said we can't deliver better public services with less bureaucrats. They said we're against irrigation in the South Island, and the Labor Party are against oil and gas exploration. And I would like to present to the House, Mr Speaker, this map here, because the Labor Party apparently are against the almost $1 billion in royalties and company taxes that we collect each year, apparently. This map here, Mr Speaker, shows the areas in blue which we have recently released for block offers across New Zealand, the areas in blue. And we're very proud of this. We hope exploration companies will come here, they'll find another Maui, and New Zealand will be able to get a little bit of a boost to its local economy. What this map also tells you, as the Labor Party rails against oil and gas exploration, is that the areas in yellow are what the Labor Party released for exploration over the last decade. After the last decade, those areas in yellow, the Labor Party released for exploration. Now, why that's fascinating, Mr Speaker, is that great statesman of this House that we all love and know said this at the time about the release of the Great South Basin area under Labor Party rule. Assuming exploration success, the country stands to earn significant revenue from royalties and taxes flowing from this investment, and it will assist in ensuring security of energy supply. That great statesman, David Parker, the then Minister of Energy, very enthusiastic about exploring in the Great South Basin. And you know what, Mr Speaker? He did it naked. David Parker was naked because there was no EEZ legislation in the Great South Basin when he promoted that. No regulation out there at all. The Labor Party believed you could have oil and gas exploration in the Great South Basin without regulation. They turn their backs on that now because they want to be greener than green. Of course, the Labor Party also have forgotten about the Maui gas field, all it's done for 220,000 consumers in the North Island, New Zealand-made gas. I don't know why the Labor Party are against such successes. I don't know why they don't support anything for this country.
Tracy Martin.
Mr Speaker, I'll just straighten my speech notes here.